Um, First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and salutations to the elect. This is Brother Lawyer from Great Millstone, Miami. And, hey, this lesson is going to be about how, hey, we're going to need miracles and spiritual powers, okay, in the days to come, all right, in the tumultuous and perilous times to come. All right, there's no carnal way out of this. All right, there's no hat trick that we can do. There's no amount of preparation carnally that we can do to avoid the troubles that are to come. All right, and to escape them. All right, we're going to need divine intervention from Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Yes, the Lord is going to have to step in through the holy angels. Yes, the Lord is going to have to pour out spiritual power on certain brothers and in certain scenarios. Um, so that we can survive. Okay, all right, and even the day of the Lord itself, the day of salvation, when Yahweh Shai comes in the chariots with his holy angels to deliver the elect. All right, that's going to be a form of miracles and spiritual power. All right, so that we can escape the second death, Lord willing, that we're part of the elect. Okay, all right. So this lesson is going to be a little different. Okay, a little different approach. I have some articles, some links on the screen dealing with certain things that are going on in the globe right now, man. And I want to use these articles, man, to pretty much highlight that these situations, all right, are going to put us, in situations, uncomfortable situations where Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai is going to have to step in and perform those miraculous deeds that we speak about in the Holy Scriptures for us. Okay, spiritual power mainly is what I'm going to go into. Okay. All right. So, with that being said, Lord willing, this video is edifying. I want to start here with from foxbusiness.com, the headline from June 28, dealing with cars. Okay. It says World Economic Forum calls to reduce private vehicles by eliminating ownership. Okay. The World Economic Forum says steps need to be taken to reduce reliance on critical metals amid a green energy push. Okay. It says the World Economic Forum is looking to reduce global reliance on critical metals as nations look to make the transition to renewable energy supplies. And one proposal is reducing ownership of private vehicles. All right. So basically, what they're talking about is pretty much, people not being able to own cars, okay, their own private vehicles. Why? Because these vehicles rely on the metals necessary for them to build their new green energy machines and devices, okay, for their agenda. All right, and also these machines, these cars, these vehicles that people own, all right, increase carbon emissions. So they're like, look, man, we gotta reduce that down, right? All right, it says this transition from fossil fuels to renewables will need large supplies of critical metals such as cobalt, lithium, nickel, to name a few, the forum said in a report earlier this month. Shortages of these critical minerals could raise the cost of clean energy technologies. All right, it says the international lobbying organization based in Switzerland has proposed three solutions for lowering the cost of critical metals used in everything from cell phones to electric vehicles cell phones and electric vehicles to wind turbines and efficient lighting. Okay, it says the forum noted that even with recycling initiatives in place, mineral mining is expected to increase by 500% by 2050. More sharing can reduce ownership of idle equipment and thus material usage. The group argued, pointing to statistics that show the average vehicle in England is driven just 4% of the time. All right, vehicle sharing initiatives like Get Around and Blue SG have become increasingly popular around the world and are key to reducing the number of cars and electronics needed globally, the forum argued. Okay, so they're like, hey, man, people got to start sharing their vehicles, stop using them so much. Okay, all right, it says, though it did not address how car sharing could be more effectively utilized in a nation like the United States where cars are heavily relied on and public transportation is lacking both in both rural and urban communities. The report also pointed out that most people around the world have um, already have personal phones or computers, but 39% of the global workers are also provided laptops and mobile phones. Okay, it says this is not at all resource efficient. The report said keeping a smartphone for 5 years instead of 3 reduces the phone's annual carbon footprint by 31%. Then it says the report said companies incentivize need to be incentivized to reward consumers' longevity and encourage product repurposing to prevent new mines from being opened. All right, but the point of this article was the proposition or proposing that private ownership of vehicles are needed to be removed. Okay, all right, and when you look out into the world, you see different travel restrictions. All right, there's a shortage on pilots, flights being canceled left and right. Cost of travel is going up. Okay, gas prices have been going up, and we also know and believe through the spirit that it's going to be more restrictions as far as lockdowns because of the future pandemics. Okay, all right. Joe Biden said himself that there will be another pandemic. All right, that's what the man said. Okay, live on TV. All right. So with that being said, all right. I was meditating through the spirit, man, and hey, it may very well be that the restrictions on travel and our ability to get around the normal way that we do via airplanes, trains, cars, vehicles. All right, that's going to be out of the window. Okay, and so scriptures like this, for example, in Isaiah 40 and 31, it says, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." Okay, scriptures like this are going to be played out. All right, potentially as a result, man. Okay, all right, the ability to fly. All right, I believe through the Spirit the Lord's going to give brothers to fly. All right, when it's impossible, when the time comes that it's impossible to use your vehicle, all right, or to get on public transportation or to get on a plane. Because remember, the scriptures do say a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, man. All right, but that's not going to stop the ministry. Okay, it's not like everybody's going to be in a concentration camp, you know. All right, the Lord's going to pour out spiritual powers, okay, on certain brothers to fly. All right, to actually be able to fly. All right, so that we can get around and continue to build amongst the body, build amongst the brotherhood. All right, to preach, to do the work in whatever capacity that the Lord will have us do in those times. Okay, now this is from healthgrades.com. All right, this is pretty much an article about the rising of communicable diseases. Okay, all right, which you see the C1984 is number one. Okay, and then you have other diseases here. All right, okay, and they just started talking about more recently this year. Okay, about the Donkey Kong bumps. Okay, all right, so let me read a little bit of this. It says what you need to know about rising communicable diseases. All right, it says contagious diseases, also called communicable diseases or infectious diseases, are illnesses that spread easily from person to person. These diseases may not require close personal contact to infect someone else. The measles virus, for example, can linger in the air for up to 2 hours after an infected person coughs. When someone inhales the virus, they too can get the measles. As the contagious diseases list continues to grow, protect yourself by staying up to date about emerging threats like antibiotic-resistant bacteria and um, and and influenza epidemic. Okay, all right. But the point of this article is dealing with how these diseases are on the rise. Okay, these different types of infectious diseases, right? Okay. Well, guess what? All right, the Lord is going to pour out the power of healing, like the Lord said, man. All right, the works that I do shall you do also, and greater work shall you do, because I go into my Father. Okay, and whatsoever ye shall ask in my name, that will I do. All right, that's John chapter 14, man. All right, so the Lord's going to pour out his spirit on certain men of the Lord in these last days to perform these mighty works, such as healings, miracles of healings. Okay, it says in Matthew chapter 4, verse 23, it says, "And Yahushua went about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing all manner of sickness and all manner of disease among the people. And his fame went throughout all Syria, and they brought unto him all sick people that were taken with diverse diseases and torments." Okay, because in the times to come, all right, you may have an elect member, all right, they may not be part of the 144,000, they may not have joined the camp, okay, all right, but they could be a friend of the prophets, they could be a widow, somebody disabled, all right, that might be injured, okay, during Jacob's trouble, okay, or prior to Jacob's trouble, they might have a disease, a chronic illness, or they might catch one of these, okay, all right, these diseases, right? So the Lord's going to pour out His power on certain men of the Lord, all right, to heal, okay, all manner of sickness and all manner of disease among the elect body of Yahweh Shai, man. All right, it says, and they brought unto him all sick people that were taken with diverse diseases and torments, and those that were possessed with devils, and those that were lunatic, and those that had the palsy, and he healed them. And there followed him with him great multitudes of people from Galilee and Decapolis and from Jerusalem and from Judea and from beyond Jordan. So Yahushua's fame was spread abroad as a result of the miracles that he was performing. All right, and that fame even spread to the disciples when their ministry began after Yahushua left. Man, the Lord brought out the Holy Spirit. They started speaking in different languages. Right, they had spiritual power. Okay, to heal certain people, man. All right, and the fame of them went abroad, man. Okay, so things like that are going to happen in these times, in these latter days, man. All right, brothers, talk about Acts 2.0. Well, hey, get ready because it's coming. Okay, all right. This is from the New York Post. All right, it says Russian lawmaker blames losses on experimental Ukrainian super soldiers. Okay, which brothers have done um, videos on this already. Okay, now whether these claims are true or not, concerning the individual, the lawmaker, whether he's lying or not, that's a whole different story. But we do believe through the Spirit that Esau does have um, ways through his pharmakia, his witchcraft, his technology to enhance his military soldiers. All right, and we believe through the Spirit that he's going to use them during Jacob's trouble. All right, the scriptures say that they shall be like madmen, sparing none. Okay, so the prospect of super soldiers being used during Jacob's trouble to try to hunt down the men of the Lord or to harm the elect, it's a probability that's very possible. Okay, all right. Now it says Russia on Monday um, outrageously claimed that its massive army has failed to deliver uh, Ukraine to President Vladimir Putin because it is fighting against experimental super soldiers turned into cruel killing machines by U.S. studies. All right, it says two Russian lawmakers told reporters this week that the Kremlin is investigating the blood of Ukrainian prisoners of war and has found evidence of experimentation. Russian outlet Kommersant reported. All right, it says Russian Senator, uh, whatever that name is, told the outlet that the blood of Ukrainian prisoners contained traces of pathogens he claimed were atypical for Ukraine. All right, and so they're trying to make this man look crazy. But hey, hey, look, Esau is what you would call a mad scientist. Okay, he knows how to enhance the human body. Okay, through his drugs, through his witchcraft and technology. All right, beyond human limitations, and so that's why scriptures like this in Jeremiah 51 are going to be needed to be fulfilled. All right. Also, Zechariah, I believe it says. Uh, the Lord will defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them shall be as David, and the house of David is God. Okay. All right. Now this is Jeremiah 51 and 20. All right. It says, "Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms, and with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider." Man. All right. Now this is a prophecy concerning the latter day Babylon, Babylon the Great, man. Okay. All right. So of course, these is not talking about regular horses and chariots of the ancient world, man. This is talking about modern day technology, tanks. Okay, soldiers, armored soldiers, man. Okay, that have rifles and guns and drones and different heat-seeking and energy-seeking technology, different energy weapons, man. Okay, all right. So in this day and age, the Lord's going to have to pour out a different level of spiritual power, okay, than he did even in the times of King David and Samson and those great men back then. Because back then it was just, spears, wooden spears, metal spears, shields, slingshot, arrows and stuff. Okay, swords made out of brass, swords made out of iron, and steel and things of that nature, man. Now these demons got all different types of stuff, man. They got bombs and radio frequency devices and different stuff, man. Okay, tanks, drones. So the Lord gonna have to pour out a different level of spiritual power, like you see in the movies, man, like you see in the animes, man. The Lord's gonna have to do stuff like that for His men, okay, and through His men. That's why the book of Zechariah says what it says, man. All right. Matter of fact, shoot, I gotta get it. Okay, but after that, I'll get it after this. All right. It says, verse 22: With thee will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young, and with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. All right, I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock, and with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen, and with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers, man. All right, so the Lord's going to use His men. All right, certain of His men. All right, the men of the Lord, man, to get busy on, Esau during the time of Jacob's trouble, man. All right, raise up that power, man. It's not going to be by, guns and, going to the shooting range and stuff like that, man. No, the Lord's going to have to pour out superhuman power, okay? Power of another realm, of another dimension, okay? Of the Hakwadash, the power that Samson had, the power that King David had, okay? Stuff like that. Gideon, Joshua, okay? How can one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight? Except the Lord had, our rock had sold them, and the Lord had shut them up. And let's get those precepts, okay? All right, how can one chase 1,000, man? All right, this is Deuteronomy 32 and 30. It says, "How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except the rock had sold them and the Lord had shut them up, man." Okay, so hey, the Lord's gonna have to pour out that spirit, okay? All right, so that we can deal in those times. All right, hey, the scriptures talk about many saviors. All right, man. Ooh, so many precepts, man. Leviticus chapter 26, verse 8, it says, "And 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight, and your enemy shall fall by the sword." Okay. Um. mm, let's go to that Zechariah, man. Zechariah 12 and verse 8, it says, "In that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as God." Okay, now David was a mighty man. Okay, all right, and he was able to run through troops easily through the Spirit of the Lord, man. And as the angel of the Lord before them sent, so the Lord's gonna bless certain brothers with godlike vitality, endurance, combat ability to defend, all right, to defend themselves and to defend whomever the Lord would have them to defend in the times to come. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 11. Okay, Hebrews 11 and all right, Hebrews 11 and Hebrews 11 and 32. It says, "And what shall I say? I'm sorry, and what shall I more say? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon and of Barak and of Samson and of Jephthah and of David also and Samuel and of the prophets." All right, and this is all about having faith, man. This is what faith, um, through faith, what can be possible, right? That's what this is talking about. What happened to people, how the Lord blessed certain people in our family tree, okay, the righteous family tree of the sons of God, okay, how He blessed them, all right, because of their faith, right? Verse 33, it says, "Who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions, okay, quenched the violence of fire," which a Samson was able to slay a lion, okay. All right, and so was King David, but King David was also able to slay bears. All right, it says, "Quench the violence of fire, escape the edge of the sword." Okay, all right, yeah, all right. So how maybe superhuman speed, right, to escape these super soldiers, right? It says, "Out of weakness were made strong, superhuman strength, wax valiant in fight, man." All right, courageous, right? Turn to flight the armies of aliens, man. All right, sent niggas packing through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, all right. Now let's go to. I want to read the headline for this article. This is from thebusinessinsider.com. We're in a global food crisis. that will wreak havoc on local economies and trigger civil unrest. Okay, all right. Now this was posted July 27th. Okay, all right, and brothers should already know about that. Okay, know about this food scarcity, famines, and so on and so forth. I'm not really going to read into this article. The point is, man. Okay, hey, the point is, which matter of fact, let me see. Who knows? Who knows what might come out of this? This is it says a global food crisis is unfolding, speared by Ukraine invasion and climate events. Food shortages, which another word for a famine is a shortage. Okay, which there's shortages happening in the United States too. All right, so this is basically the beginning of famines. All right, like the scriptures tell you in Second, this is the 16th chapter, the beginning of famines and great death. Okay, all right, it says food shortages have led to civil unrest in the past with deadly consequences, and that's already happened now with Sri Lanka, different places around the globe, right? Riots are happening because the price of food and food scarcity, right? All right, it says experts warn that even if you are well fed, rising food costs in your country will impact you. In India, the cost of lemons has skyrocketed. Jollof rice has become so expensive in Nigeria that people are skipping meals. Um, in Mexico, avocado prices have jumped, making it them a luxury few can afford. Orange groves in Florida are yielding the lowest amount of fruit in the year. That's true. Okay, all right, because driving through different parts of Florida, you see the orange crops. First of all, orange trees are supposed to be lush and green, and you're supposed to be able to see the fruit from the distance. You know what I'm saying? Like that glow, that orange yellowish glow from a distance. But like driving through different parts of Florida, you see the different orchards, the orange groves and stuff like that. Man, they looking like anorexic, man. Like you don't hardly see fruit on them. You hardly see leaves on them. It look the grass, the dirt look dusty. Okay, yeah, man. So yes, there's a famine going on, man. Okay, all right, because of these different droughts. All right, these different weather events are affecting crop yields. All right, it says in Japan, a shortage of salmon is hitting the sushi trade. Zoom out, and it is clear a food crisis is unfolding around the world, with prices shooting up everywhere. And when that happens, everyone feels the pain. People can cut back on movies and even driving when the cost of tickets or gas surges, but everyone needs to eat. All right, and then it goes into different things that have happened. All right, where food scarcity has caused riots, and there you go. All right, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Tunisia, Morocco, Mozambique, Argentina, and Peru. Okay, all right. Now, hey, these things are gonna get worse. Okay, famines are gonna get worse, as the scriptures say. Okay, but hey, that's gonna lead to the Lord through the Spirit. I believe through the Spirit, the Lord's gonna pour out, His Spirit, miracles. All right, to multiply bread. All right, for the believers to eat, like the scriptures say, "My servant shall eat." All right, because there's eventually gonna be no food in the stores, man. All right, it's not gonna be anything in the pantry. Okay, all right. So how are the elect going to eat in these times? The Lord could rain down manna from the sky. Okay, the Lord could have ravens or birds come and bring food for you. All right, the Lord could have it to where He pours out His Spirit on certain men to multiply bread as He did in the days of old. Okay, this is Mark chapter 5, verse 8. It says, "In those days, the multitude being very great, having nothing to eat, Yahushua called His disciples unto Him and saith unto them, I have compassion on the multitude, because they have now been with me 3 days and have nothing to eat. And if I send them away fasting to their own houses, they will faint by the way, for diverse of them came from far." And his disciples answered him, "From whence can a man satisfy these men with bread here in the wilderness?" And he asked them, "How many loaves have ye?" And they said, "Seven." And he commanded the people to sit down on the ground. And he took the 7 loaves and gave thanks and brake and gave to his disciples to set before them. All right. And it says, and they did set them before the people. And they had a few small fishes, and he blessed and commanded to set them also before them. So they did eat and were filled, and they took up of the broken meat that was left 7 baskets, and they that had eaten were about 4,000, and he sent them away. All right, so Yahushua multiplied bread and fish, little bit of bread and little bit of fish that he and his disciples had left to feed 4,000 men. Okay, all right, and it was women, more than likely, and women and children included, man. Okay, so things like that are going to happen in these times as well. All right. Now, this is going into the drought. The next article from theguardian.com, it says U.S. West mega drought is worst in at least 1,200 years, new study says. All right, so this is going into the drought. A lot of brothers been bringing it out. All right, I'm not going to so much read into this. All right, but the Midwest and the West are going through a drought in the United States. Okay, and that's not the only place on Earth that is going through different droughts, different heat waves, things of that nature. It's actually happening all over the globe. Okay, all right. So the Lord, okay, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, okay, is going to pour out His Spirit on certain men, as He did upon Elijah in the days of old. All right, to pray for rain. Okay, and it's gonna happen. Remember, even Yahushai had power to control the weather. He prayed, and the sea and the waves ceased from troubling him and the disciples in the ship. Okay, and it may not be that the Lord poured out the Spirit upon Moses through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, water came out of a rock. Okay, things like that can happen. Okay, all right. But anyway, I have the example with Elias briefly from James chapter 5 verse 17. It says Elias. Well, matter of fact, yeah, I'll start at verse 17. It says, Elias was a man subject to like passions as we are, and he prayed earnestly that it might not rain, and it rained not on the earth by the space of 3 years and 6 months. Right? So Elias prayed that there would be no rain, and for 3 years and a half there was no rain. Verse 18, it says, and he prayed again, and the heavens gave rain, and the earth brought forth her fruit. Okay, so there you go. All right, things like that can definitely happen, man. Okay, all right, the Lord could pour out the Spirit upon one of His men or a group of prophets, all right, to face the east, man. It's a drought, you know what I'm saying? Let's call upon Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and pray to Him for rain. Okay, all right, and the Lord will bless with rain. Okay, during a time of drought. Yes, the Lord can do that, and He has done that in the past. All right, I also have something that I found on IG. All right, which I was actually looking for this headline, before I did this video, but I can't seem to find it again. All right, but this is from RT. It says AI that can predict crime with 90% success rate accused of racism. All right, which Esau has technology like this. All right, different AIs and surveillance systems. All right, that target you, Jakes, man. Okay, so during Jacob's trouble, you can best believe that he's going to use these technologies to their fullest, man. All right, and he even maybe tailor them to certain brothers in the truth. Okay, public enemy number one, right? All right, so it says AI designed to predict crime. Okay, it says AI designed to predict crime. A week in advance has a 90% success rate, according to a study by the University of Chicago. It was trained on a data set containing the times and locations of violent and property crimes and can use those patterns to extrapolate into the future. However, despite the model's successes, some are worried it's less like Minority Report and more just minorities. It has attracted controversy over its reinforcement of stereotypes. Okay, I believe this might have been used in Chicago. All right, it says the model works by dividing the city up into tiles approximately 300 meters across and examines crime patterns. This this differs from traditional models, which look at hotspots that fall within administrative boundaries, and instead allows it to see other connections, such as areas linked by public transport or communication networks. Researchers hope this tool, rather than reinforcing biases, can help expose biases in police responses. Which, look, man, Esau is the devil. Okay, all right. The scriptures talk about how his eyes are privately set against the poor. Okay, all right. He shooteth them at secret, and he don't fear. Okay, jumping down to the last paragraph, it says AI experiments and crime fighting have attracted controversy over perceived racial biases before. In 2016, the Chicago Police Department trialed an AI designed to predict shootings, but was forced to abandon the experiment when the AI identified a majority of young black men as persons of interest. Okay, so Esau's going to use that technology again, I believe, um, during Jacob's trouble, man. All right, trying to hunt down men of the Lord. All right, different believers of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Scriptures say that there shall be a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Okay, so what version, okay, or what type of spiritual power can the Lord use, all right, to help, okay, in a time like that where Esau actually has technology programmed to hunt a brother down, okay, facial recognition technology, voice recognition technology, right? Well, let's go to Luke chapter 24, verse 13. It says, "And behold, two of them went that same day to a village called Emmaus, which was from Jerusalem about 80 furlongs. And they talked together of all the things which had happened." All right, so this is a couple of disciples, okay, that went to a village after, Yahushua was crucified, everything that happened around that time. They were talking about it, right? It says, "And it came to pass that while they communed together and reasoned, Yahushua himself drew near and went with them. But their eyes were holden that they should not know him." Okay, so Yahushua, he had already rose from the grave, okay, and he sees two of his disciples walking, okay, to a village, and they're talking about everything that happened and, what was going on. And Yahushua just pulled up on them while they was talking, and they didn't even recognize that it was him. Why? Because he had the power to disguise himself. Okay, it says, "And he said unto them, What manner of communications are these that ye have one to another as they walk, and are sad?" Okay, and one of them, whose name was Cleopas, answering, said unto him, "Art thou only a stranger in Jerusalem, and hast not known the things which are come to pass there in these days?" And he said unto them, "What things?" And they said unto him, "Concerning Yahushua of Nazareth, which was a prophet, mighty in deed and word before God and all the people, and how the chief priests and our rulers delivered him to be condemned to death, and have crucified him. But we trusted that it had been he which should have redeemed Israel. And beside all this, today is the third day since these things were done. Yea, and certain women also of our company made us astonished, which were early at the sepulchre, and when they found not his body, they came saying that they had also seen a vision of angels, which said that he was alive. And certain of them which were with us went to the sepulchre and found it even so as the women had said, but him they saw not. Then he said unto them, O fools and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Ought not Yahushua Hamashiach to have suffered these things and to enter into glory? And beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. And they drew nigh unto the village whither they went, and he made as though as he would have gone further. But they constrained him, saying, Abide with us, for it is toward even, and the day is far spent. And he went in to tarry with them. And it came to pass, as he sat at meat with them, he took bread and blessed it and brake and gave to them, and their eyes were opened, and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight. Okay, so Yahushua had the power to disguise himself, man. Okay, to cloak himself, man. Okay, all right, that's where like these different comic books and animes get it from, like Naruto transformation jutsu. You have Mystique. Okay, all right, you have Martian Manhunter who can change his appearance. All right, and also another thing in the scripture, it talks about how Yahushua vanished out of their sight. So invisibility, okay, or teleportation, things like that. All right, so yes, man. All right, things like this are gonna happen in the days to come, man. In the times to come during Jacob's trouble, the Lord is gonna perform different mighty acts, deeds, whether it be spiritual power given to brothers, whether it be miracles that are performed through the holy angels. Something's gonna happen. It's miracle time in the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rachakwadash. All right, so with that being said, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rachakwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the elect Kwame Yasharala and Abad Babal Shalom.